Hi, good afternoon. This is me. Thank you very much. Okay, speaking in the afternoon session is very challenging. Being the last speaker, it is a privilege. Good. So I'm going to cover the following contents. Hopefully, I will share something good for you. Okay, I'm a businessman. I started the business when I was 27 years old. Prior to that, I attached to a Japanese company. At that time, I just came back from Japan. And I was there for almost 2 to 3 years. Suddenly, one day, I received a call from my brothers. He called me. He said, can you please resign? And we want to form a company. Actually, it shocked me a little because he has never mentioned to me about forming and setting up a company. But after some discussion with him and consideration, I decided to give it a try. I look at it, the timing was actually quite good because at that time, many influx of foreign direct investor into our country, and Malaysia, from the agro base, transform, become an industrialized country. So there are many foreign investors also came in, and we are also seeing many relocation of the plant from Singapore, especially from Singapore to Johor Bahru here because of their cost is higher than us, and we started it well. And throughout the whole journey of my business, it was full of challenges. So that's the topic that I'm going to share with you, a journey to be an entrepreneur. And I guess many of you who may wanted to be an entrepreneur, I guess, the challenges that I face, it has made my journey of my entrepreneurship become very meaningful and very interesting. And I call them 3M. The first M is money, financial support. Some of my so-called the veteran businessmen, they told me, they say, if you wanted to grow your business, you need to get the loan. You need to borrow the money from the bank. So I went to the bank and I told the officer I want to meet up with the managers, and they linked me to the managers. Before I wanted to sit down, the manager stand up. Very tall guy, very big size. I think he don't want me to sit down, So I spoke to him. I explained to him the purpose that my meeting with him. And before I even finished my story, he stopped me. He said, Mr. Tay, I'm sorry, I think our bank is not suitable to your company. So I wasn't really that upset actually, because I already predicted that kind of answer from the bank. And I went back. After that, I tried again with another few other banks. The same result happened. Then I came back again. I met up with my brothers. We sit down and we discuss together. We were too young at that time, and we do not have track record. We do not have the experience in talking to the bank. So we couldn't find the answer actually. And I made a very weird decision myself. Guess what? I keep my mustache. I want to tell to the bank that I am no more young, and I'm old enough, I'm matured for you to give me the loan. But unfortunately, that mustache doesn't help me at all. I never get the bank loan just because of the mustache. But anyway, I kept it until when I was almost 40 years old. So someday maybe when you Google, you can see the photo. That was me. It's no other person, it's me. Then the second M is talking about the marketing. In SME, as a new startup, we can do the job well. Any kind of the job, we are okay. But when it comes to sales and marketing, this is something that missing somewhere. I talked so much to many purchasers, to the procurement managers, but somehow I couldn't get the purchase order from them. And I confronted them. They say, I cannot differentiate. What you are good at as compared to other suppliers that they have. So this is a good lesson that I pick up throughout my journeys in my business, a very good lesson in my subsequent years of running the business. So next M is talking about management. I'm in the manufacturing line. In manufacturing line, we have to manage with manage with the operation, the quality controls, the storage, the warehousings. But to me, the toughest is the human resource. I do not know how to deal with people really. When you operate the machine, you on it, it run, right? When you stop it, you off it, just stop. But to the human being is somewhere that, you cannot control them. You don't know what they are going to do next. We can't figure out what they're going to think next. So one thing I did it right throughout my entrepreneurship journey, I took up many studying opportunity. I never regret on that. I attended many management courses, all kind of management that could help my business. The last paper that I attended, I sit for was my MBA exam. I remember when I completed my thesis, I told myself I wanted to have a short break. I gave myself 5 years sabbaticals. And that sabbaticals dragged me very long. Almost 15 years. I only restart my study again last year. I took out my PhD study in UTHM. And my advice to you guys, if you wanted to study, you want to upgrade yourself, never repeat the same mistake that I did. Just keep the momentum, let it run. In the business for almost 20 over years, I remember well, the objective that I wanted to run a business together with my brothers. The business has grown for some size at this point of time, but I'm still very clear about the objective that we wanted to make the business, to run the business good. I remember the aspiration that I wanted to be a good businessman, a responsible businessman, still fresh in my mind as until today. I'm still very clear about it. And I work very hard, working from 8 morning until the 8 night is a norm. Frequently, I have to stay until 10 p.m. to sort out many administrative job in the office. And occasionally, I will stay until late midnight. But I make sure that the next day, I will go to the office and open the factory gate again for my people. So to me, I know the business belongs to me. I have to take care of it. I have to run it well. And I need to work hard, work very hard. And I love the job that I'm doing. And I know if I do not like the job that I'm doing, I will never do it right. I will never do it proper. Never. So I love my job very much. And I remember one incident. There was a long weekend public holidays. Many of my staff have already go back to their hometown, go back to Kampong. My supervisor called me up. On his way back to his hometown, he called me, he said, our driver has left one item in the office and did not send to the customer. And our customer has already prepared and make a special arrangement for the overtime to run that model, and the next day they need the items. So I quickly went back to the factory and I managed to find the parts and I sent to the guardhouse almost midnight. The next day, the store's manager called me up, thanks me, and I told him, this is the commitment that our company given to our customer. And I believe with that kind of commitment, the business will only grow. So, many youngsters came to me and they asked me, when is the best time for me to start the business? And in what field that should I get involved with? What choice that should I find? To me, I would like to share about an incident from my friends who wanted to start up a business in cafe, to start a cafe business. So he approached me, asked for my opinion, and I asked him, why you want to start a cafe? He said, cafe is good because every day everyone need to eat something, and it is a cash business, not like mine, it's on credit term. I agreed to it, and he started his business. At the beginning wasn't that bad, but after some time, he started to see many problems because the chef that he engaged started to give him a lot of problem. He take the chef took unnecessary time off day, MC, especially during the peak days. Peak days for F&B is weekend, Saturday, Sunday is very important for them. So the problem that my friends he didn't cook well. You know, he depends entirely on this chef. So eventually he could not cope with it and he ceased the operations. So my advice to the youngsters, you know, if you want to start something, please do something that you are familiar with, you are good at, you know, that will be a safer bet. You know, in the event that someone do not help you, at least you can manage and do it yourself. As an entrepreneur, we need to be alert with the surrounding, what is happening, or what is going to happen, or perhaps what had happened could be a very good guide for us as a businessman to decide on the investment or expansion plan. Taking, for example, 1997 financial crisis, I think some of you may not be aware. 2003 SARS outbreak, 2008 the American subprime crisis, the Greeks debt crisis, and some even told me, you know, 2 years ago, the US president election also equally important, because all this happening will affect the global economy. So being an entrepreneur, we need to be careful what is happened. Some of my foreign friends who have the business in Malaysia, they are at the observation mode now because they wanted to see what is going to happen in our next PRU. It's coming soon, right? So I guess as an SME, we need not to be over alert, but we have to be cautious. To be cautious, you know, because SME normally are not so big, but all this happening will somehow affect the whole macro environment. The next thing is talking about the tools. We need to have a good tools for us to run a business. For example, an IT personnel, maybe they need to have a good laptop, up-to-date software, so that they can maximize their job. To me, in my company, I'm running a manufacturing plant. We need to have a kind of a machine that up to the latest technologies, because the customer demand is always changing and the changes is very fast. So a good tools will keep our competitors away. And my friend, they say maybe opportunity also important for an entrepreneur when they want to start a business. Yes, true enough. I agree with it. Being an SME, normally we are much more resilient. We are very creative. And of course, we know how to create the market needs. That market need itself is already our opportunities. And of course, someone said luck. You know, this morning, doctor also mentioned about luck. Yes, but I tend to differ a bit on that. I prefer to call it timing. You know, we must choose the right timing for us to do some important decisions. You know, when, for example, you know, the bankers, remembers? If he is not in a good mood, or maybe not at the good timing. So when I approach him, definitely I would not get a positive answer from him. And other than this, the government assistance is very important for an entrepreneur. So we need to look at all kind of incentive that is available to the new startup business. I shared a lot with Dr. just now this morning that we are very lucky in Johor Bahru. You know, most of these government agency, they do have their branches in Johor Bahru here. We can approach them. This is a very attractive rate, attractive package for us to make full use if we wanted to expand our business. My company, over the last 20 over years, remember the bank turned me down before? I took up the lesson. I went back to school. I studied about the accounting. I studied about the finance. I know what is debit. I know what is credit. I know what is gearing ratio. I know what is current ratio. When I go back to talk to the bank, at least I know how to present myself. Over the last 21 years, since 1996, I have making full use of the government incentive. I think it's more than 25 million already with a very, very low interest rate. So without that, I don't see my business can grow. So to the youngsters who came to me, I told them, I say, we must make full use of all those incentives that is available by the government. The Kojadi. I'm very much involved with the Kojadi. I'm one of the panel approval committee for this Kojadi funding. So if any one of you may be interested, I will be the person who would like to share with you more on that part. Other than that, before I end, the conclusion that I think we have to keep abreast with all the business atmosphere surrounding us. We know all this is already within our daily life. The e-commerce, the big data, AI, IoT, e-wallet, and the Industrial 4.0. We never know, that this Uber taxi, Grab taxi, or even the Airbnb can become so fierce. We know that 60% of the job has been disappeared. And the new job, the 60% of the new job is not appear yet. We don't know what's going to happen next. But if we neglect or ignore all these technology changes, I think it is going to be very tough for a young entrepreneur like us. To me, entrepreneurship is not about a destination, but it is the journey. It is a marathon, non-stop running marathon. It will continue and continue. So I hope my sharing today would inspire some of you who may wanted to be an entrepreneur one day. And I hope, just like Dr. Jaidi mentioned just now, many of you can be an entrepreneur. With that, thank you very much.